The shocking truth behind car chase lie, victim Meghan spiraling, money woes, phony friends, and desperate for awards. Harry struggles to make her happy, but she's absolutely obsessed with Princess Diana. Why do they never travel with their kids? Pushed to the limit as the Sussexes face yet more backlash. As we've already reported, Meghan Markle went to New York City on May 16th to pick up an award that she bought, the Women of Vision Award at the Ziegfeld Ballroom. And she said, "The part of my greater purpose in life was to advocate for those who felt unheard." She said that as she claimed the honor, seemingly referring to her troubled history with the royal family. And then she added, "and to be not afraid of saying what you know is true." The ex-yacht girl and mattress actress had brought along her husband Harry and her mother Doria to the high-profile event. A source spoke with Star magazine saying she was so excited. But just a couple of hours later, the idea of truth was already being put to the test. Harry and Meghan said that they were involved in a near-catastrophic car chase with the paparazzi, and they claimed that this chase lasted over 2 hours. And initially, some people felt some sympathy, and of course, people compared it to the tragic car accident that killed Harry's own mother, Princess Diana, back in 1997. But soon enough, the two were accused of exaggerating the severity of the incident and playing the victim yet again. Now, sources claim that an emotionally fragile Meghan is spiraling out of control, as her plans to succeed after she and Harry left the royal family in early 2020 have disappeared. The source says the whole New York trip turned into a total farce. Meghan is still picking herself off the floor and trying to make sense of it all. She's very upset. There are conflicting stories about what really happened after Harry and Meghan left the Ziegfeld. One member of their security team, Chris Sanchez, described a chaotic scene. He said there were about a dozen vehicles, cars, scooters, and bicycles, and he revealed that Harry and Meghan were forced to change cars multiple times as they were trying to evade the photographers. The public was in jeopardy at several points, he said. It could have been fatal. But New York City Mayor Eric Adams spoke out, calling the paparazzi reckless and irresponsible. The source also says Harry hates the paparazzi at the best of times, and being chased through the streets takes it to a whole new level. It triggered a lot of fears and anxiety. But the NYPD issued a statement that seems to downplay the whole chain of events. Now, they say that it was challenging, but they also said there were no reported collisions, summonses, injuries, or arrests. And they also said that no further investigation would take place. The pile-on continued when the anti-Meg New York Post quoted some sources who criticized the parents of the invisible children, Archie and Lilibet, for choosing to stay at a friend's place instead of a hotel with high-level security. When Meghan and Harry demanded that the photo agency give them copies of all the photos and videos they got from the night in question, the agency hit back. They said, "In America, property belongs to the owner of it. Third parties cannot just demand it to be given to them, as perhaps kings can do." Other people have accused Harry of really blowing things out of proportion in order to influence his legal bid to pay for special police protection while he's visiting the UK. Now, of course, later on he lost that case. And finally, Meghan and Harry's spokesperson addressed the backlash, saying, "Respectfully, considering the Duke's family history, one would have to think nothing of the couple or anybody associated with them to believe this was any sort of PR stunt. Quite frankly, I think that's abhorrent." But anyway, reportedly, Harry and a very stressed Meghan are planning to fight back. The follow-up ridicule Harry and Meghan have faced for merely stating how scared they were makes them furious, says the source. Harry filmed everything he could on his iPhone, and it's almost certain he will pursue legal action. Whew, all right. Well, other than being chased by paparazzi, it's still true that Meghan really relates to Princess Diana, and some say it's to the point of being obsessed with her. The source also says it may sound harsh to accuse Meghan of having a Diana complex, but that's what a lot of people think. It's because of how she feels they were both mistreated and singled out as a bad seed unworthy of her place in the royal pecking order. Like Diana, of course, Meghan supposedly hoped to rise above the negativity. Meghan wants to make a difference in the world, claims this source. She considers the causes she supports to be more important than anything else. But anyway, it's no big secret that Meghan has really been struggling to find her place in the world since leaving her acting career behind and also marrying Harry. Insecurity is something that has been bothering her for years. On her now defunct blog, The Tig, she talked about always having some problems fitting in. She wrote, "Being biracial, I fell somewhere in between. And she also wrote that she felt like an outcast in high school and she had to eat lunch all by herself in the bathroom. She also referred to her 20s as brutal, saying that she yearned to be as cool, as hip, as smart as other people. In spite of her podcast series and their foundation, Meghan and Harry have yet to make much of an impact in the US. The source also says Meghan hoped to make more of a splash by now, and they added that she's been putting her own name in the running for humanitarian awards. Yeah, no surprise there. Anyway, the source also says she knows how to play the game. She participates in these types of events to heighten her profile. In other news, apparently Harry is doing everything he can to make Meghan happy, but it's not very easy for him. They're dealing with a lot of turmoil and criticism right now, and it's stressing Harry out, according to this source. Things were bad enough back in the UK, but the fact Americans are now giving them a hard time is really worrisome. He just wants everything to be perfect, but he and Meghan keep getting themselves into trouble. Well, yeah. I mean, Meghan is a narcissist, she's completely egocentric, and she has delusions of grandeur. She has no talent, and I'm sorry, but she's not very attractive either. Meghan assumed that the big move to the UK and her marriage to Harry would finally bring her the fame and fortune that she wanted. But the majority of Brits could see right through her from the very beginning. Meghan, for some reason, thought that being the spare was exactly the same as being the heir. She thought, and she probably still does, that she was going to be a princess in her own right. She never understood that Harry's mother was actually not a princess. See, Diana only reflected her husband's title. Diana, Princess Charles of Wales. Meghan is not even a duchess in her own right. She just has the right to use her husband's title as Duke of Sussex. And we know she wanted William, but he was already taken by Catherine. She assumed that Harry was still going to be number 2 in line to the throne as well. It doesn't seem like she understood that William's children have precedence over him. As Harry's nephews and nieces get older, the very unlikely chance that Meghan could ever raise to real heights gets further and further away. And the next thing that's upsetting her, apparently, is that her children are just commoners with very little chance of getting real titles. I mean, yeah, they have the prince and princess titles in the US, but that doesn't really mean anything stateside. So Charles probably will not issue letters patent. And then when William finally becomes king, Harry and Meghan better watch out. I wouldn't be surprised if he takes titles away from the whole bunch of them. Another thing to consider is that until his older brother started having kids, Harry actually was in with a chance of becoming king. His great-grandfather, for example, was not the oldest son, and there have been other people who inherited when the oldest died at a young age, or at least without any children. Now, in modern times, kids rarely die young, so the chances of Harry becoming king were very low before he married Meghan. Actually, when he was born, Harry was as close to the throne as Prince Andrew was before Charles married Diana. By the time he's the same age as his uncle Prince Andrew is right now, chances are he's going to be slipping even further down the line of succession. I do hope, though, that he can continue to do so with a lot more dignity than Andrew has shown. And if her detractors are right in believing that she cares about these types of things, then very obviously she should have realized that Harry was unlikely to ever become king, and therefore she was equally unlikely to ever become queen.